Film club.
Is it? Is it a scar?
Yeah, it's a scar.
Since when
I
did
ran
a
into the
scar?
fucking lamppost.
Thank you very much for joining us in the episode of Film Club. I'm one of your hosts, Andy Harrison. To my right, as always, it's the lamppost dodger himself, Andy Donaldson.
Do you not remember that accident?
I remember it perfectly well. It was hilarious, but I don't remember getting a scar from it.
Yeah, blood was gushing everywhere, mate, honestly.
Every single week in Film Club, we invite you along to watch a film with us. We dive into some of cinema's best before coming back here to talk it out. And Andy, this week, I really think we went and looked at one of cinema's best.
Yeah, this is The Elephant Man.
This is The Elephant Man from David Lynch.
David Lynch.
It's been a while since we did David Lynch.
I'm so surprised. Last time we did it was Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
And just before we go on about like what The Elephant Man's about, this is Studio Canal. They won't let us use much of their content, like up to 3 minutes. It's like little fuck you, Studio Canal. Other than that, The Elephant Man is about a lovely guy. He's called Joseph. What's he called? Joseph Merrick, but we call him John Merrick in the film. He's got a facial disfiguration. He's in the circus, and a doctor, physician, finds him and says, "Look, I want to kind of treat you. Well, you're quite fascinating in your condition." And through this, he actually become close friends because he offers support to John Merrick, and it's kind of like this ability to live. Despite the fact that John Merrick, he's going to die at some point because his condition's so severe.
He cares for him and he treats him like a real person.
I think he's got COPD or something like quite heavily. And he's this little stint where he goes back to the circus and he comes back out. And it's this story about John Merrick's life and about like people treating him as a human.
Which that is one of the most important things about this film, actually, is because I think the pacing of this film is wonderful.
Oh my God, it was so good. I'm so glad you said that.
Because it's about his life, which means that it's going at this breakneck pace. And every so often you just it fades to black or it fades through to the next scene and you have jump time. And it just keeps doing it, keeps pushing forward.
I'm glad you said it because I noticed when I was watching it throughout and I was going through this film and I was thinking, you know what? There's at no point in this film has there been a lull where I've been like, noticed I'm watching a film, I've just been so into it and I've been like, oh my God, this is such a pleasant experience, but pleasant. In its own way, you're fascinated. You're not fascinated because then it sounds like you're fascinated by him. You're in there. You're in the film.
You care about him.
Yes,
because you're right. You're fascinated not by him, but you're fascinated by what's going to happen.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. There was one point I was on the verge of tears, and it's the scene where he's just thank you. You to call your friends and stuff. When his when what's his name wife cries. Should I say? Complete difference.
We watch different films.
Yeah. What's his name? Trevor's.
Yeah, and his wife has that little breakdown because she's so emotionally taken
and I was
by
just
what's going on.
And he's just like this, and I'm like, because it's John Hurt, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And he could kind of get it with his voice.
And that's, I think, the most impressive thing about this film is, we talk quite a bit about like how well films age and how they stand the test of time, and obviously, I have this big pet peeve that CGI knocks me, and like things like Elephant Man are the reason why, because like he looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a practical effects, it's prosthetics, isn't it?
Yeah, all the prosthetics on him.
But imagine John Hurt have to have that like every day and go through that,
and he acts the hell out of it.
I mean,
regardless of all that rubbish that's on his face.
He's trying to talk, and he's like, you can hear the saliva and everything like that. And I'm thinking some dedication, to the cause there, and it's like. He feels so real. He feels like John Merrick. Maybe me. I did a lot of research after, and I'm quite glad that this portrays a kind of a harsh. Well, by the sounds of it, a bit of what I read, a harsher aspect of John Merrick's life. It did seem like he went to the circus voluntarily in real life. Thankfully, because I was parts of this film where I was thinking, how can humanity be that severe? Yeah, and I was I was starting to despise everything.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
Do you think, so this is just a complete question for you, do you think that Lynch maybe made that decision to change his name to John Merrick so it didn't feel so much like a slavish biopic? And instead he could have creative freedom and things
what you're doing is you've got this real life character and you're trying to make a film around it. And I believe that he used that as like a way to show what is it, like how do we call ourselves humans and everything. Like David Lynch is very, with his films, he likes to try and make you think of something, very Lynch, which I'll go into in a second. But with this, yes, he obviously got John Merrick there, but he's trying to say to us, why do we treat him so terribly? Why he is a human? Why are we doing this? Just because he looks different? What the fuck? He's basically saying.
And mentioning that he's got like those very Lynchy aspects about the film, but this film is so not Lynch.
Oh my God, this is what I was going to say. This is what I mean. I was going to go back to him. I was thinking, when we saw about it was David Lynch, I was like, fucking hell, because I struggled with Mulholland Drive. came in the dream sequence at the very start. I was like, oh, fucking hell, this is very Lynch. And then it just stops.
There's three, isn't there? There's the opening dream sequence, the one where he has an actual nightmare, and then the one that closes
Which
the
comes
film.
true. Yes. And I really appreciate it. And that's the kind of Lynch that I would really love.
Yeah.
And yet throughout the whole of the other film, the rest of the film, sorry, he's got such a, we're sitting there, like with the pacing and stuff like that, the cinematography, they used to black and white, was that intentional?
Beautiful,
I know,
isn't it? It's
class,
absolutely
isn't it?
beautiful. Yeah, it's absolutely
Reminded me a
intentional.
bit of like Schindler's List sort of thing. And the way he's going through the film and everything, I'm thinking, I don't remember this kind of dedication to traditional, let's just
No,
say...
you're right. Yeah, traditional narratives, because like he could have very, very easily. Like, Lynch is known for things like Mulholland Drive, Eraserhead. He's known for Blue Velvet. These sort of
Eraserhead was black and white.
These dreamlike sort of visual metaphorical films.
Yeah.
None of that's in here.
Yeah.
None of that's in here. He's way more. And interestingly, I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's a film called The Straight Story, which is another David Lynch film. It's another biopic that he did, and it's another one of his films where it's really not very Lynch. And it seems to be when he does a biopic, he totally tones himself back and instead like projects more typical classical narratives.
Yes,
but it's like watching somebody who's doing a classical narrative, but with the immense control and artistic flair of someone like Lynch.
Yes,
it makes this amazing combo.
Like you said with The Dream. We did this because last week we did The Sounds of the Lamb, with Hopkins, and it was basically like because he's one of my favourite actors, and I was thinking I hadn't actually seen too many performances, but what I have seen has been amazing. And in this, whilst yes, you could argue, well, it's not hard to argue, he's shadowed by John Hurt.
Yeah,
amazing. Hopkins in himself is absolutely fantastic. Like the whole film, that where he's holding himself, he's really composed. You can see that genuine care in his face, and then he turns around to that janitor guy who takes advantage of Merrick, and he just blows up in his face. I think it's the first time I've ever seen Anthony Hopkins like kind of scream and not compose himself, and actually like kind of have some sort of like raw animalistic emotion about him. And I was like, fuck, like this, because when he got angry, I was like, it's like.
Except for Silence of the Lambs last week.
No, but he
bites a guy's ear off.
Yeah, but he does that with elegance, and no, but you say that. Look, we're on about the music. He does that with sophistication. He bites him, and he's toned down, and he just does it, and there's no sense of like animalistic.
Biting.
No, but like he doesn't do it angrily. He doesn't do it this. Yeah. He's very thorough in his process. Yeah. Whereas this, he kind of the switch is flipped, and he goes to me,
which is weird. Because the rest of the film is really, you're right, totally subdued. It's a very restrained performance.
Yes,
I think to mellow out the whole thing, and also to let John Hurt kind of rise a little bit in that respect, and to not overshadow. Like obviously his character is way more of a supporting character for John Merrick, even though he starts as our protagonist.
Yes. And he kind of like has a decision, am I becoming that person, everything like that, which is very interesting itself. I did, because I've not seen it before, and to be fair, there's a clip here I want to reference, the clip, and I've only seen that once maybe, and completely out of context. But yeah, to see this film and see like how he's trying to help him, but then he's finding like he's showing it off to the rich and stuff, which is when I felt a bit uneasy towards the end scene, where they're all giving a standing ovation. I was thinking, is that truly heartfelt? And it did make me question that. I was thinking, like, are these guys just doing it because she's doing it? Is there any? I'd like to hope that scene was meant to be like well intentioned.
So, the scene,
yes,
the clip that you're going to see down here.
He escapes the French circus after just being like absolutely traumatized, and like he's on the verge of death.
He gets cornered in the London Underground.
Oh my god, this is the point where I was just like giving up on fucking humanity, and I was just like. I was like fuming. I was like on the verge of tears and stuff like that. He's going through and he pushes the girl out the way. They're all like, crowding him and going like this. And he erupts. He goes into the bathroom stall. He's got nowhere to go. He's like for lack of a better phrase, he's like a thingy in a corner, what's it called? Something in the corner.
He's like a wild animal.
Yeah, wild animal in the corner. And what does he say? He goes, I've got it up here, and he goes, I'm not an elephant. I'm not an animal. I'm a human being. I'm a man. And it's just like, I've seen that before, but I've never seen the context behind it, how he's pushed into that corner, how he's gone through a lot of shit through his life. He's just coming a second time round the circus. Obviously, this betrayed worse than real life version. And he's escaped all this brutality just to have fucking people be dicks to him when he comes back. It's just like, come on, people.
And it's the first time in the film where he makes a ownership statement.
Yes.
Where he believes he is deserving of being a human.
Yes.
Until this point, the whole film has been kicked around, even when people have been nice to him, he's been just outwardly grateful and thankful for every little scrap. And so this moment he finally says, no, I deserve something.
Oh man, and it's like, it's harrowing, but it's also like, oh, it's intense. It's so intense. And then obviously he gets that amazing end, and to go on to the how he eventually passes away in the bed. He knows that lying down, and that got me as well. And he's like sees the kids in their frame, and then he lies down. He puts the pillows down. You can see that thought process go through him. It's just like, yeah, this is a good. It's deep, man. It's deep.
Which is painful as to you when you were reading around. You found out that that's actually how he died.
Yes. Oh my god. Yes.
It just heartbreaks.
But to be fair, that it might be more of an accident in real life. That's what they're saying. It's still, whereas this, it was portrayed more. It was his idea to do it that way because he knew he wouldn't get up. Which I think David Lynch did a fantastic job, and I will read more into the real life version of, or should we say, not John Merrick. Joseph Merrick, sorry about that.
And I think you're right. Lynch did an amazing job here. This is weirdly one of the least Lynch films, but one of my favourite Lynch films as well.
Shout out to Adagio for strings. The music when he's leaving like
when
this.
He's lying down.
And I'm thinking Adagio strings. Oh, you're gonna fucking hate me. But the first time I actually heard it was Tiesto. That's how embarrassing it is. But I was like, oh my god, I know that song. It's everywhere. Then I realised it's filming everywhere and stuff like this. A very famous classical piece from the 40s of something daft. So, well played Tiesto for getting me into the first place. I'm joking. Back in my fucking secondary school chav days.
So anyway, there is The Elephant Man. You can let us know in the comments below what you thought of The Elephant Man, or you can hit us up on Twitter, as always. Andy, we're going to be back once again next week. We're going to be taking a look at something almost on the complete other end of the spectrum than The Elephant Man. But
still great.
We're going to take a look at something in preparation for M. Night Shyamalan's Glass coming out.
We're going to see it.
Because we're going to see it. Mm-hmm. We actually need to watch split in between this as well, because the film we're going to be doing next week is Unbreakable.
That one.
So get watching, and we'll see you back here next week.
I am a man.
I'm an elephant.